everyone. Thank you so much for being here. Welcome to Build Weekend Watch, the show that talks about other people's shows, and will do so until our lungs are filled with the boiling water of the rising seas that are the result of man-made climate change. We're dedicated. Alongside me today, we have senior reporter for HuffPost, Lee Blickley, and writer for Vulture, Anne Victoria Clark. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Thanks so much for being here. So this past Tuesday, we had this year's Oscar nominations, right? They were announced. There were some surprise nominations, like Willem Dafoe for At Eternity's Gate. There were 11 nominations for a genuinely weird movie like The Favorite. I don't think I saw that coming, but we're going to talk about all of them. We're going to piss and moan about what we liked and didn't like. Let's get to it. Let's get to the heart of the issue right now. I think the biggest upset was no Ethan Hawke nomination for First Reformed. That was... I might not even watch the show out of protest because of that. What did you guys think?
I have not seen First Reform.
So good.
Sorry, I've been seeing movies like Serenity, so I have not seen First Reform.
We're going to get there. We're going to get there.
And First Reform got an original screenplay nod, and that's it.
Did you see what Paul Schrader's response to being nominated was?
No.
He said, I'm paraphrasing here, but it was something along the lines of... you know, this is difficult for me because I've often disagreed with everything the Academy stood for, but I'm thankful for the nomination, which I thought was like, man's a boss.
Yep.
He is a boss. So the Best Actor race, you know, there's no Ethan Hawke in it. It also seems like kind of a dim race this year. Are you guys interested in anybody that's in it?
Well, I love me some Star is Born. Anybody out there in the audience love Star is Born? Come on, give it up for Star is Born. But they love
don't
it.
do that to
they
them.
love it. So I'm actually rooting for Bradley Cooper because he didn't get a Best Director nod, which is like, fine, it's your first movie. You don't necessarily deserve a Best Actor.
That's what Andrew Dice Clay took to Facebook to say.
I saw that one, yes.
He said, hey, it's your first movie. It's okay.
Yeah, and I didn't get a nomination either. What the heck?
I'm going for... I think I'm probably going for Bradley Cooper here as well.
He deserves it too.
Yeah.
Can we please think about Bradley's resume? He's like an Amy Adams. Like they haven't given him an Oscar yet. Maybe give it to him instead of Christian Bale or Rami Malek, because I don't know, Vice and Bohemian Rhapsody are just not two of my favorite movies this year.
Not very good. I'll also say I recently saw a clip of Bradley Cooper from Nip Tuck back in the day, and it's a scene where he is trying to get an operation so he can perform fellatio on himself, and he was very funny in that scene. And I saw that scene, I said, "Give him the Oscar." That's very funny. He's been
Nip Tuck.
He's been good forever. Yeah. You know, he's been competent or better forever.
Yeah. He's a professional. He's a true professional.
100%. Who's your pick?
I'd probably have to go with Bradley Cooper as well for the same reasons. Like, he did the most work. Even though I did think Christian Bale was great in Vice. Like, his performance, I thought, was really funny and had a lot of gravitas, which I think is important to the Academy. So.
And we have to think, too, about, like, the speeches. Like, Christian Bale hasn't really been killing his acceptance speech game. He's been failing miserably, which he's done in the past.
A bit too comfortable.
I feel like Bradley would give a good speech. So I'm rooting for Bradley. I really am. But I don't know. Rami could come and, like, sneak and take
I actually think Rami might win it. Yeah. I think Rami might win it because... One, he essentially got Singer kind of fired from the movie. I think people respect him because of that. And I think because if you watch Bohemian Rhapsody, it's one of those movies where you go, that is someone acting.
Yeah.
Wow, look at how hard they're acting and trying. He's got this huge set of fake teeth that are impossible to talk with.
Just distracted the heck out of me. Those
the movie's
teeth.
It's
an
so abomination.
Bad.
It's terrible. And his performance is hammy.
But you know the Academy loves that. They love a transformation. So I think Christian Bale and Rami could win it, but I'm rooting for Bradley because he transformed in like a different way. Like he created a character that I really believed he was Jackson Maine. Like he changed his whole voice, his whole look. So can you tell I like Bradley Cooper?
I love Bradley Cooper.
Yeah. He'd also learned to sing. I mean, Rami
and play guitar
too, but yeah. So he actually performed at like what was it? It was a music festival he went and like actually performed at to get those shots.
That's right.
So
another actor that or actress that was denied a nomination that I think was a poor choice is Elsie Fisher for 8th Grade. And it also didn't
good.
get a screenplay nomination. Those were 2 nominations that I kind of expected for that movie because she's phenomenal in it.
Yeah.
But I think it's once
Yeah.
again, I mean, this goes back to the Academy and how it votes and how it's looking for things that look like acting with a capital A. And I think because Elsie Fisher's a teenager and what she does in that movie is so subtle and so nuanced,
Yeah.
the Academy doesn't really pay attention or notice things like that. You know, they see, oh, it looks like a teenager acting like a teenager. Do most of the actors in the Academy, can they not act? Did they not know about acting?
Probably not.
Yeah.
Because Elsie Fisher, that was a Sundance movie, and it's just had like a whole year of great reviews. Bo Burnham he's such a good writer. I'm shocked that he
Yeah.
didn't get that screenplay nod, like you said. And Elsie's so good. I'm looking at the lead actress now. I was surprised by the Yalitza for Roma. I think she's
happy with
fabulous
that.
in it. I really love her in it. But she did steal that spot from Elsie, I think. But although she's been talked about a lot, I still think it's going to be a tight race between Glenn Close and Lady Gaga.
Are you excited about that?
Oh, I am.
Are you enjoying watching the Lady Gaga Glenn Close sort of battle on the awards circuit?
Well, in my mind, it's Olivia Colman's year. That's my thinking. I mean, just not only because she's got that great performance in The Favorite that she's nominated for, but she's going to play the Queen again on
Crown.
Netflix. She's going to be the Queen. So to me, it's all Olivia Colman all the time.
I could see that.
'Cause you
too.
love her, but do you think she'll win?
I think she could win. Yeah, I think I would like to see her win. I think that'd be very nice.
I think I want to see Glenn Close win because again, another actor who deserves to win an Oscar
She
for
was
her
nominated
career.
essentially for her first 3 film roles. Like her first 3 roles that she got, she was nominated for an Oscar. I believe. I may be making that up.
Love
Maybe it
Glenn.
was 2. But I mean, it was a number. Her first roles, she basically got nominated for. She's been nominated 3, 4 times?
Yeah, but the thing is too, though, we were talking backstage about movies you are nominated for, though. Does Glenn Close want to win for The Wife? It's not the best movie out there, but her performance is so freaking good. But I feel like
also
everyone just wants Gaga to win because it's Lady Gaga. But I feel like Olivia and Glenn could take it.
Hot take, I thought Bradley Cooper was better than Gaga.
So did
in
I.
A Star is Born.
Yeah.
Gaga was kind of playing Gaga a little bit, just
And look,
more subdued.
This is gonna force me to jump around a little bit, but we were talking about this earlier, and it applies to 2 other categories. I'm a big fan. I don't think the Oscars have to go to the best performance. I'm a big fan of the Oscar as an apology for not having given you Oscars before. I mean, Martin Scorsese won Best Director for The Departed, which is by far not his best movie, but he didn't win for Raging Bull or Taxi Driver or Goodfellas, so it's fine, give it to him. And in that regard, give the Oscar to Spike Lee for BlacKkKlansman this
Yeah.
year. He's never won. I don't know if he's ever even been nominated.
He wasn't. He was never nominated.
He's never been nominated. The man who directed Do the Right Thing and Malcolm X has never been nominated. And then at the same time, we've been having this battle about Amy Adams in the Best Supporting Actress category. Her 6th nomination, right?
6 times. She's had to go to the Oscars. She will have had to go to the Oscars 6 times. If we let her walk away without a trophy this time, I mean, it's a crime.
It's a problem. But again, she's going to win for Vice, which
Which is a bad performance in a bad movie.
bad movie.
I mean, if you've had to put on Spanx and full hair and makeup and walk the red carpet 6 times and not win anything, I mean, that's just mean. That's mean at that point.
She deserves that Oscar.
I mean, more so than Regina King and If Beale Street Could Talk.
It's Regina King's first Academy Award nomination.
But she's also been around acting for a
has.
long time. She's sort of a beloved figure in the industry.
But I feel like once you get that Academy nomination, it's you get a title in the industry. You're Academy Award nominee. And so your first time, it's cool because it's oh, I'm getting all this recognition. It's my first trip to the Oscars. That's really cool. Whereas, Amy's had to go 5 times now.
Can I tell you a secret? Pretty sure Regina King's going to take it, and Amy Adams is going to walk away from a 6th Oscar show
Poor
without
Amy
an award.
Adams.
And I love Amy Adams, yeah.
She's so freaking good in everything. And then don't forget, too, we have Rachel Weisz and Emma Stone in this category, too. They were so good in The Favorite, but I think because they're nominated together in the same category, that might not play well for them.
I
and
think,
I think
the
that's
favorite,
the problem.
the favorite's nominated for 11 awards. I don't think it's going to win one.
Really?
gotta give it one.
Oh, look, I love The Favorite. It's one of my favorite movies of the year. I think it's one of the better movies that's nominated. Maybe the best movie, with the exception of Roma, in the Best Picture race. But I just don't. It's too weird. I think even Academy people, it's just too weird for them.
Yeah. I prefer BlacKkKlansman. That's the movie on this list I would want to see again. I really liked that movie.
You didn't get the ending? You're like, oh, this is too ambivalent for me. I don't really get this.
No, I mean it was a good movie. Like they're all good movies, but you know, I just I thought Black Klansman was the most exciting and most interesting of everything that's out there.
Yeah, I loved it too. I want to talk about one more snub for me, personal snub that I was expecting Thomas and Mackenzie or Ben Foster for performances for Leave No Trace.
Yeah, you loved that movie. You at least loved the trailer.
Love. There's footage of me crying when I started an interview with
That
the
movie
director.
was so good.
Yeah, and and it's just a two-hander. It's just the two of them, and she comes out of nowhere and delivers an incredible performance. Foster delivers a sort of toned-down Ben Foster performance, sort of what we expect from him now, but she's incredible.
That was such a good movie. That and like Sorry to Bother You, I'm surprised didn't get any love whatsoever.
Yeah.
And if Beale Street Could Talk didn't get nominated in the Best Picture category, which was a little surprising to me.
Yeah. But it's the Oscars.
Yeah.
They nominated Darkest Hour last year, so I don't trust them.
We have our first Marvel action movie nominated for Best Picture, which
Yes.
is Black Panther, which is exciting. But I feel like people really are gung-ho for Black Panther or A Star is Born to win. And I was talking
Neither.
to you like a
Yeah.
little bit about how editing, if you're nominated in the editing category, it really does help your chances to win Best Picture. So I don't think either of them is going to take it. It
Yeah.
could be the favorite. That would be awesome.
I think the favorite. I think Roma's going to take it.
Yeah. They did win, I think the Critics' Choice was that. I could see Roma taking
Which
it.
is incredible to me that Roma's picking up awards like this. I mean, I know it has a ton of fanfare. It's Alfonso Cuarón, but it is a 2-hour and 20-minute personal, intimate movie about this maid who's having I wouldn't even say she's having emotional problems. She's just going through her life.
Just like watching her
Yeah.
life, black and white. But it's so
incredibly
beautiful. It
moving.
reminds you of like the classic films. It's just a classic story, simple story,
don't
nothing
think it-
like crazy.
But that's what I disagree with. I mean, it looks classic. It feels classic. It ends up coming to a sort of classic feeling in a way. But it is not a classic film at all. It's very subtle. It's very soft. It's very much just like fly on the wall, following this woman around as she goes about her daily business and as things happen around her. And I'm just shocked that like people have taken to it as much as they have. It makes me really happy that people like movies that much.
I think
and
the
like movies like
Netflix
that.
thing too has helped Roma because a lot of people can go like they can just sit on their couch and watch Roma instead of having to find a theater that's playing Roma or because a lot of the Oscar movies like they end up playing in small theaters and not everybody gets a chance to see them. Like who's gonna go see The Favorite? I don't even know if it's in like an AMC or.
Yeah, again though, Roma, a 2-hour and 20-minute black and white movie that follows a maid around, while on Netflix, is in theaters across the country, and people are going to see it. It's doing well.
That's true.
Like they're doing 70mm presentations all across the country.
You want to
and
see
it's
it in the
doing
big
really well.
screen. Like
Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah. Anything else that you guys want to add? What are you most excited for Best Picture? You got Black Klansman.
Yes.
You've got, or not, yeah, Black Klansman. What do you got?
I mean, I just want to see A Star Is Born win, guys. I really do. It's definitely it's one of my favorites this year. I don't know why, but I was super affected by Bradley's performance. I think he was just so good, and I think for his first, time directing, I think he did a great job. But I do like Black Klansman as well. There are a few I like, but I really want A Star
What's
Is
your
Born
least
to win.
favorite movie in the Best Picture category?
Ooh.
Is it Vice or Bohemian
Vice.
Rhapsody?
Oh, Bohemian Rhapsody is just a bad movie. That should not. It's a bad movie. So is Vice. Yeah, either of those.
You know what's so fun about Bohemian Rhapsody, though?
Nothing.
No, I find the conversations after Bohemian Rhapsody very fun because it has become a polarized thing. And as much as I hate that word and everybody talks it like everything is so polarized now, blah, blah, blah. Like Bohemian Rhapsody is actually one of those things where if people like it, they're like, well, I liked it. So what? So what? And you're like, but it was a bad movie. You realize there was no script and the end didn't make any sense. And technically it also looked like shit. And they're like, but I don't care. I thought it was good. Don't you tell me I can't like it.
My favorite is, but the music was really good. I was like, just put on a Queen album.
they're
Like,
just
who
Queen
cares?
songs.
It's been available for years, literally.
Music has been out. What do you
And one thing
mean?
someone told me, like, it's really bad, but, the last 20 minutes is the Live Aid show. And the Live Aid show is just incredibly well done. It's so technical
that by
and
10
incredible.
people have told me that.
And I was watching the movie and I was like, this looks like shit. This looks like they shot it in front of a green screen at the AOL studio 770. Like, this is
Don't
like,
knock that AOL studio.
no, this looks like we could have made this, but this was like, a $70 million movie. No offense to our technical crew at AOL. You guys are the boss. You guys are amazing, but you know what I mean.
You guys should have made Bohemian Rhapsody.
Would have done a better job.
If that wins, I'm just gonna roll my eyes, and I mean I have to wait till the end of the Oscars to find out who wins Best Picture, and that's what sucks. Because if that wins,
There's also the
Man.
political side of Bohemian Rhapsody that I want to talk about really fast. And I think that leads to one of these sort of why it's kind of polarizing is because there are those, myself, who will say it's actually quite a homophobic movie, and it's also been directed by someone who is accused credibly multiple times of having sex with underage boys in very precarious situations. So kind of a gross movie, if you ask me.
Yeah.
And there's this sort of wave happening in LA, and I think within the Academy as well, of like, oh, enough is enough. Enough with your PC crap. It's just a good movie. Yeah. And you're like, no, it's a bad movie. And part of the reason it's bad is because it's homophobic and it's not thought through. Like, they didn't think the story through.
Yeah.
if you just watch that movie and then just think of Bryan Singer and all that crap, yeah, no, it's not working for me.
Yeah.
I'm surprised. I'm actually surprised it was nominated for Best Picture.
And it would be annoying if something like that, with all that baggage attached to it, beat any of these other movies that don't have that baggage. Well, I mean, except for like Green Book has a lot of baggage too. But
Some people love Green Book. Like it's.
apparently,
I think Green Book has less baggage attached to it than Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah.
For me personally, Green Book to me just reminds me of your standard, like, look, the old white people in the Academy are like, that's so nice.
yeah,
you know?
I
And then
think
they
that's this
die.
year's darkest hour is Green Book. It's like there's always one like old white people movie in the nominations, and that's Green Book this year.
Very excited to cast their last vote for anything.
Green Book is a feel-good movie.
Yeah.
I mean, parents love Green Book. Like my parents loved Green Book. My grandparents that's who loves Green Book. So you never know. The older members of the Academy can totally be like with that preferential voting system.
Hot take as a young person, I didn't mind it. I didn't think it was that as bad as so
mind
many
it
people
either.
told me.
I mean,
I thought Vigo was good. I thought Mahershala was amazing.
Performances are great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and-
And I love Vigo. You know what? Vigo, he deserves an Oscar, Vigo, for all of his work. I'm a
does.
Lord of the Rings fan, and
Yeah.
I'm an Eastern Promises fan.
yeah.
Oh,
what else
right?
has he been
As he
in?
shows his dick. Speaking of showing some male body, maybe we should move on to the movie that we're going to talk about, right?
The movie I have not seen, but
So-
you guys are so
okay.
interested in
This
it.
is one of my favorite things I'm ever going to get to do on this show, and I can't imagine it's not going to live up to the hype that I'm doing it for myself right now.
We're gonna go viral today.
And I want to tell everybody watching right now, and anybody sitting here in this audience, we are going to spoil the hell out of this movie called Serenity that comes out today. It stars Matthew McConaughey. It stars Anne Hathaway, both Oscar winners who will not be winning Oscars for this movie. The movie may win some Razzies in the future. It is a doozy of a bad film. Oh my God, I can't wait to talk about this. Lee has not seen this movie. She doesn't know what the twist is. This, I think, legendarily bad twist at this point. It will live in infamy forever. Would you agree?
I mean, okay.
Don't do it yet.
Here's my hot take. I'm not gonna spoil it yet, but my hot take is that I thoroughly enjoyed it because I love hot garbage. I love it when people swing for the fences with an original idea that's like, there's no IP behind it. It's just it's kind of got an Old Man in the Sea vibe, but like otherwise, I was like, someone needed to make this movie, and I love that about this movie. But yeah, it's not a good movie. It's an experience, I would say, to see it.
Well, we are going to ruin
But we're
that
gonna ruin that
experience for
experience.
anybody who hasn't seen it.
Damn it.
Let's look at the trailer, and then let's ask you what you think the twist could be after you've seen a little bit of the trailer. Let's roll the trailer.
You were right about him.
He's violent with you.
What's this?
Just a little scratch.
Little scratch, huh?
I want you to take him out on your boat and drop him in the ocean for the sharks.
They say she came all the way to see you.
Yes, it's about temptation. There's right and wrong.
No. In Plymouth, everybody knows everything.
Okay, what do you think this movie's about?
Sorry, just getting over Anne Hathaway. Just
That was
being Anne
nothing
Hathaway.
compared to what happens in the rest of the movie.
So
does
this movie is about
What?
like.
Oh no, I was saying she does a great I've just finished crying voice throughout the whole movie, which is nice.
No. Well, the movie is about. So she was married to Matthew McConaughey, correct? And they're divorced, and now she goes to him to help her kill her husband, which is Jason Clarke.
You are 100% correct. Also, her and Matthew McConaughey, I'm going to try to clue you in down the line, see if this works. Her and Matthew McConaughey had a child together, right? Who she wants Matthew McConaughey to kill this husband to protect the child. The child happens to, we learn early in the movie, also love video games.
This ends up being a video game?
The whole movie
No.
is a fucking video
Somebody's
game.
playing a video game?
The movie is a video game.
Wait, I'm going to be Anne Hathaway today, and let's go.
Oh, we haven't even gotten to the great part of that yet. So basically, the movie opens with,
Filled all my cards.
the movie opens right with Matthew McConaughey is a captain of a boat on some island, and Anne Hathaway comes and she's like, kill my husband, blah, blah, blah. We have a son. This guy's abusive. Will you please kill him? Also, she goes, he plays video games all day. He just loves video games. And we've gotten some brief illusions of like the screen flickering over the kid's eyes and cutting back and forth with McConaughey. And then also like, he sometimes hears the kid or there's other things. So it starts building and you're just going like this. No way. You cannot. Are you? No. And then it gets to the point where Jeremy Strong from Succession appears and he's like, you know what this is. You are a game. What? You are part of a game that your son has programmed in order to hide from the world and from his stepfather. And then as it turns out, Matthew McConaughey, the rules of the game are that there can be no violence in it. And so Matthew McConaughey has to break the rules of the game and kill the stepfather so that the kid in real life can kill the stepfather. And at the end of the movie, as Matthew McConaughey is killing the stepfather, we are juxtaposing that, cross-cutting that with the son killing the stepfather in real life, who could only do it apparently if Matthew McConaughey broke the rules of the game.
What?
But somehow Matthew McConaughey knows what the rules are, and there are rules. It doesn't make any sense.
Is the game called Serenity?
It's called Plymouth.
So why
Yeah.
is the movie called Serenity?
The boat is called Serenity.
It's called
the boat
Serenity.
that they're on.
And also, there's an illusion at the very end. They throw in like a lot of like dialogue that's done over other people talking, like it's disembodied, like clips that you hear in the background that explain very key points of the plot. So I don't know if they should have done that, but like,
Oh, they were clearly working this plot out on day of.
So now do you guys like want to go back and rewatch it to get all the hints, or you're good with one
well,
time?
I'm pretty good with it because at the end they have like an overlay quote like that where somebody's like talking about AI and like video games gaining consciousness to, I think, tell us, oh, this actually is his dad now because he's programmed a thing to be his dad that has gained sentience and now it is his dad.
Right.
But they do that in like a one line of dialogue you hear while he's swimming naked in the ocean over him.
It becomes a little Truman Show like at one
Yeah.
point where McConaughey walks to like the edge of the water and is like in so many words being like, where am I? What is this?
Oh, no. It's wild.
So we have not even got to.
But you said that there's like all this McConaughey, Diane Lane like sex
Whoa,
time.
wait a
That's
minute.
in a video game?
So the best part is, and this is what happened to me.
Sims?
The best part is, this is what happened to me is the whole, like the plot takes place before you learn that it's a video game, and there are multiple intimate scenes between both Matthew McConaughey and Diane Lane, who is beautiful, stunning, always, and Anne Hathaway, who is ostensibly the kid's mother.
Yeah.
So I left the movie, after finding out that it's a fairly graphic sex scene between Matthew McConaughey and Anne Hathaway, and I'm leaving the bathroom, and I think to myself, wait a minute. Did the kid program his mom and dad boning?
Yeah.
Like, was the kid like, this is the part of the game where mom and dad have sex?
This has to happen to further the story.
And the sex scene is weird. Like, I mean, it's...
Oh, every sex
It's a
scene.
video game, Ricky.
No, it's weird because it's specific. Like, Matthew McConaughey starts having sex with her, which is clearly shown visually, and then he stops halfway through and is like, that's it. You don't get to win. And you're like, what? What did that kid think about his mother?
Also, what does he think about sex? Yeah. Every single sex scene in this movie, the woman remains fully clothed. Have you noticed that? Like every time Matthew McConaughey,
It's just his ass.
Yeah, it's just naked
just
Matthew
dad's
McConaughey.
butt.
Diane Lane wears a fully closed tied robe for each sex scene in this movie. Because like when they're done, like he'll like do that classic roll off where it's like, ugh, but she's like fully robed already, and you're like, wait, what?
So
and
either
then
the kid was thinking that, or those actresses signed some contract
Right.
for no nudity.
yeah,
Or there were rules within the game that there could be no female nudity.
just Matthew McConaughey.
Just
butt.
Matthew McConaughey butt. Which again,
That's his father's
dad's
butt.
Dad's
Yeah.
butt. Yeah. The kid is clearly
Dad's
like Matthew McConaughey's character died in Iraq, like in the Iraq War, and so this kid created the character in the game so he could communicate with his dad because his dad is dead. Clearly, he just wanted to look at his dad's butt,
Yeah.
which is creepy and weird. I mean,
Weird feelings about his dad.
there is some weird stuff in that movie that I also don't think are weird feelings. It was just not very well thought out.
Not
Yeah,
great.
no,
Yeah.
it's the kind of movie where like at the beginning the kid is looking at a picture of him and his dad fishing and flips it over and on the back of the photo it says me and dad, comma back then, and I'm like, okay, yeah, so you know that it's not now, like you know that that's not the future, okay, right, you and dad, yeah, okay, cool.
Do you think the script always had that twist? Because there is
Yes.
something really.
I do well
There
only
is something about it that feels like we got to do something here, and then they did it, and then tried to re-engineer some of the movie to be like that, but then did not remember that they had multiple sex scenes.
well I do think because there were just so many things like
Well, I am fascinated by the sex scenes.
this what's so interesting about the movie is that it is like you do get this feeling of the island being a very controlled environment from the beginning. Like the radio DJ is always the same guy, and
Jeremy
he always
Strong.
he says a lot of exposition that's like very unnecessary. Like you're ready to go out and get that fish today, like on the radio, and you're like, is everybody on the island catching a fish today? And it's there's just a lot of stuff going on, and there's like when he goes to take a shower, he jumps off a cliff into the ocean. That's how he showers.
Oh, and that's when you first start recognizing that
Yeah.
he's cluing you in on it's a game. They start doing these. Oh no, the first time they do this with Anne Hathaway is she walks into the bar
Mm-hmm.
and they do this like weird strobing camera shot like that goes around her head. It goes.
It's like when you change the camera angle in an RPG and the angle changes around your character, it looks like that.
It does that, and then it does that around Anne Hathaway's head, and then she goes, "Hi."
Yeah.
What?
It's a lot of stuff where
Wait,
like
this actually makes me want to see the movie even more.
yeah, no, there's layers.
I thought it was
There's
just going to be
layers.
like a romantic thriller or something. That's
Can I
like
be honest? I would have been. I know that it's fun, that it's so crazy and goes for broke, but I enjoyed the romantic thriller aspect of it. Like, I've become an old man in the sense where I'm like, oh, like a movie for adults. That's like, they're sexy and they're sweaty and they're on the beach and he has a boat and there's going to be a murder mystery. I actually get kind of excited for movies like that. And when it turned into the big twist, I was kind of like, whatever. No.
Ready Player One.
Why a boat captain? What a boring video game.
Yeah, it's very strange. And also there's other games on the island you can play. Like Diane Lane is always looking for her cat because I guess another game within the game is Find the Cat,
Made no sense.
which is not a game. That's just life for people with cats.
Collect rum bottles.
Yeah,
Collect rum bottles.
which is just life for people who drink a lot. Like that's not a game.
And then at the same time, also Jason Clarke, who plays the shitbag
He's
husband.
very good in this.
Fine. I don't know. I mean, there were 3 trailers for movies with Jason Clarke before this movie started. In each one of them, he is the husband. He is the husband, whether it's like the good husband or the bad husband or the cuckolded husband. He is the husband in every movie
Typecast.
now.
Yeah.
But he in this has lines, again, essentially programmed by this 12-year-old child, where he's saying, "Hey, do you know where the part of town is where the child prostitutes are that I can go
Yeah.
have
Oh,
anal sex with?" And you're like, "What?" And then you find out it's programmed by a kid, and you're like, "Where did that dialogue come from?"
No, but it's
Movie
funny though
sounds like a
because
doozy.
the kid is like probably he's in middle school, right? Like he's like
He's supposed to be 12 or 13.
He's 12 or 13. So in reality, if it was written by a kid, it should be much dirtier. Like it should be all naked. All the ladies should be naked. Boobs should be everywhere. Like it should only be sex. If it's
Straight up Reddit thread, like
yeah, like it's weird that there was so little female nudity in it because it's his game. Like come on, like what?
That's true. And then
Daddy issues.
the final moment, one of the ways that Matthew McConaughey has to break the rules of the game and kill the guy, blah blah blah. And then, but at the end, he calls his son from the game to tell him everything's gonna be good. And his son tells him, "I've broken the rules again, so we can see each other." And then they see each other, right?
Yeah, I guess they do.
But it's like in his head because the whole thing has been in his head.
Yeah.
I mean, it's I can't.
Yeah.
It's
My mind is
It-
blown, guys. I can't even keep up with this.
Okay, I
Yeah.
gotta move on. I'm being told. Do you have one more thing?
No, you should see it. It's an experience.
Yeah, I want to go see it with like a few friends though. Now
Yeah.
that I know the twist, I hope you guys weren't watching. I want to see with people who don't know the twist and just watch
Yeah.
just watch them.
I kept turning around to people in the theater was like, are you guys as baffled as I am? Are you laughing? And they were all just like, this movie's really good. What? It shows how little I have my finger on the pulse of anything. We got to move on to our next topics. We're moving on to TV. One of my favorite shows. I love it so much. It's like a warm blanket, and it's so sad because this week it returns for the second half of its final season. Of course, I'm talking about The Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt. Let's take a look.
Shaun White, you wrote the Legends of Grimulax?
I'm not Shaun White. My name's Kimmy Schmidt, and I'm all girl.
I'm living my dream, and not the one where I get chased by Captain Crunch.
Let's party!
Crushing it!
You dumb slut. Kablowy!
I've been through a lot of terrible stuff. But I still believe that this is where I'm meant to be.
Also premiering this week in their final season is the new season of Broad City, the new final season of Broad City, the 5th season. Let's roll that trailer, and we'll talk about both Kimmy and Broad City.
Why is the news not covering this 24/7?
Look what I brought you. Fresh virgin breast meat.
This is a safe space.
Get over yourself.
Oh, I'm over myself.
She hates herself.
No piece of shit, huh?
It is a spiritual experience.
Excuse me. What the fuck are you doing with my child?
This is insane.
She thinks she's better than me? Bullshit!
No matter what the outcome, don't be scared. I feel completely at peace.
Both of these shows are great. I'm really sad that they're leaving.
them
I
both.
really love Kimmy Schmidt, though. Kimmy's kind of like, I don't know. I just love the way they structure that show and the 30 Rock or the Robert Carlock, Tina Fey style of 50 jokes a minute.
Yeah.
And 40 will land. The other 10 will be so dumb that you can't help but laugh. I love it. I'm going to miss it.
Yeah. Also, Ellie Kemper. I'm gonna miss her.
I love her, and I just think back to the first season and how good it was, and like you said, it does feel like a warm blanket. And now it won't be warm anymore. It's just going to be very cold. And
Well, it'll be like 30 Rock for me. I'll just go back and watch it again and again. I've seen every episode of 30 Rock probably multiple times at this point. Really, I think my two comfort blankets are 30 Rock and The Sopranos. Know what that says
Very
about
different.
me, other than being of a certain age when two things were coming out.
and soon Serenity.
And so, soon
Yes.
Serenity. Just the butt shots, though. And Broad City. Do you guys love Broad City?
Yes, and I actually watched the first episode of the last season last night.
The
and
Instagram
Watch it. How was
stories?
it?
It was I wept at the opening montage of asses. There's an ass montage that'll make you weep. But it's a great show, and I'm so sad because I feel like it really did a good job of encapsulating New York City. As well as just everything else about the show being hilarious. But I was like, Broad City is my New York because she even lives in my neighborhood. I live in Astoria. It's Astoria. It represents Astoria. Yeah,
You got
thank you.
a story
Thank
guy
you.
out here.
Yeah.
And was the first episode the Instagram stories episode?
Yes.
Really great.
It's so great. Yeah.
Really well put together, and also like a really clear depiction of like linear TV being able to be destroyed. Like, didn't it feel like you weren't watching TV? And why
Yeah.
why did this thing have commercials?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it was great. I love
Do
it.
an entire episode in Instagram stories.
Do they really?
Yeah, it just
Yeah.
keeps
Love Broad
flickering really fast into different clips and
I'm
scenes.
gonna be so sad. Broad City and Kimmy Schmidt are ending, but it's like I find it nice when shows leave before we just get sick of them. Do you know what I mean? Like a Downton Abbey or something like that. Like they're leaving maybe at a good time before the show gets bad. So
Yeah.
at least we can have that to hold on to.
I would agree with that. We have to get going in a second, but there's one more thing happening this weekend that I know that you want to talk about. Maybe you want to talk about it too, and that is Rent Live. on
Guys,
Sunday.
Rent Live is on this weekend.
Oh boy, what are we gonna do? Are we all getting together to watch it?
Well, were you guys okay? These live things have been like around for a little bit now. I loved Grease Live. Did you guys see Grease Live?
I didn't see Grease Live, but I love Jesus Christ Superstar Live.
So a few of them have been good, but we have to think back too to like Sound of Music Live and Peter Pan Live. Not so great. I just don't think Rent. I don't think it's going to be that great.
Isn't Rent? I mean, I know lots of people have nostalgia for Rent, but isn't it kind of a dated show? in a way.
Yeah, and also not really for primetime network viewing audiences, in my opinion. I mean, it deals with some pretty heavy topics, so I'm interested to see how they make it family friendly.
I mean, they're going to make it family friendly, and you're going to take away the whole aspects of Rent.
I've always thought that Rent was family friendly, though. Was I wrong? I mean, I saw it with my family when I was a kid. I saw
it when I was a kid, but it depends. I think it depends too on like your like my parents took me to see Rent, and we all had like the best time. But there are certain parents who maybe wouldn't want their kids to see
men
Rent.
kiss in it.
Well, there's
I vaguely remember being fairly chaste.
I mean, they allude to a lot of like drug use. Mimi is like a stripper. There's that whole thing. There's just a lot of things you might have to explain to your child.
I mostly remember
the
character comes back from heaven at the end.
Yeah, Angel.
Yeah, he comes back from heaven at the end. And I remember even me as a little kid when I saw it being like, that's bullshit. He's dead. He's dead. They shouldn't do this. This is cheap. Don't do that to the story. Let him be dead.
Yeah, see, you were the kind of kid it was okay to show Rent to, but some people might not want to show their kids.
He comes back, he's just died, and they're like, how's heaven? And he's like, it's great. Jimi Hendrix is up there. Woo! And you're like, no, he's dead. He died. So guys, what are your top picks of the week?
Top picks of the week.
I mean, I think for you, it's going to be seeing Serenity.
I gotta see Serenity, and I think Broad City. Yep.
Yeah, Broad City definitely. I do want people to see Serenity because I need to talk about Serenity with more people. So I need as many people as possible to go see this movie.
Absolutely, 100%.
Also,
Serenity.
the SAG Awards are on Sunday. Anybody like the SAG Awards?
Oh, are we all getting together to watch it? Oh boy.
Rent Live SAG Awards. Rent Live SAG Awards.
It's like a hard choice.
Yeah, we'll get together. If that's the second time you've asked to get together, we'll get together. It's okay. We can do it.
Yes, let's be friends.
Okay, I'm going to go with Serenity as well, and I'm going to go with Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt. Serenity, once again, because I just want more people to talk about it with.
You were going to say SAG Awards. I threw that out for you.
No, I'm not going to say SAG. I'm not going to watch that. That does it for us this week. Thank you, Lee. Thank you, Anne, for joining me today. And for all of you watching, remember the likelihood of any of you ever getting any kind of Oscar nomination or even a decent living wage in the entertainment industry is really bad. You should all have backup plans and be working to be better at whatever that backup plan is. In fact, it's probably better you give up on whatever dreams you have, whether they're in the entertainment industry or not, okay? Also, this entire episode in reality is just a video game designed by my estranged son. Thanks, bye.